the bustling metropolis of Kensha, where cinematic scenes like litter the neon landscape may seem like a technological utopia at first glance, but in the dark alleys around the brightly lit buildings, an unforgiving criminal underbelly still exists in the form of fugitives known as the Akudama. No stranger for these individuals, the Kasan police began to crack down to the public execution of the infamous Akudama cutthroat, guilty of killing over 999 people. However, a mysterious message is sent to several elite Akudama, enlisting them to free Cutthroat for a substantial amount of money. An invisible hand seeks to guide these dangerous personas in one place, ensuring that the execution is well on the way to becoming a full-blown bloodbath. This anime has about 12 episodes. It premiered October 8, 2020 to December 24, 2020. Based off an original series, it is action sci-fi. Each episode is 20 minutes per episode and is rated R and 17+ for violence and profanity. Let's get started into the review. What I really like about Akudama Drive is that the main character, especially the girl, that's how it kind of like it's like the starting college, like the domino effect, like how one effect follows one after the other. And the story follows this ordinary girl, just trying to figure out what she'll eat for the next day. And a small story short, she gets accused of being labeled as a Kame, even for simply just a simple misunderstanding, but it wasn't taken that way, and so she was brought to jail. And among that, she encounters one of the most highly dangerous criminals in her world in the city of Kaisen, and she becomes known as the Swindler because of being falsely accused of petty theft. And I mean very petty theft, because she had made paper food, but she didn't do it, and the shop owner thought she was gonna, dash and die, but she wasn't. And then she meets the other deadly criminals, the Akame, and now she must avoid evading the police. And even if she managed to escape, there's a mysterious bidder who will each of them $10 million if they do this one more task. So now she, along with the 6 other Akame, are their unique personalities and their different personas kind of lead them how they are, especially in the first episode, how they're introduced to us as the audience and what are their names and what are they labeled as. And it's kind of very different because all the criminals that are shown in the series, they're all given code name. Like the girl herself is called the Swindler. There's one called Cutthroat. There's the Carrier. There's the Hacker, the Brawler, the Cumulum, and the Doctor. And to see their faces plastered on the billboards in the opening scene, the bounties that are on their head, and if they're in prison, how many years they would get in life. I feel like in this futuristic town, a simple theft or a candy bar compared to human life is non-existent. And in any crime filled town, people fight, they buy, they sell human beings, human trafficking. I think the whole overall clear overarching theme in this anime is human dignity has gone out the window and everything goes. And I think watching these interesting characters, especially the characters that I name, they all have motivation of why they want the money and how they fight. The action scenes are top notch, and I feel like when you're watching their judicial system and how they don't do any trials and their government isn't democracy, it's just if anyone's innocent, they could be declared a criminal and vice versa, and the abuse of power, it's lovely. And I think also how this girl kind of gets wrapped into this crazy world, even not by choice, just by a simple misunderstanding. It just shows how she's taken upon herself her innocent personality, and she's absorbed all of what she's experienced all in one day, especially being the mysterious bidder, and she's just wrapped around this group of these evolved criminals. And I think also, the point is that even though she doesn't want to be part of the group, she's part of the group now, and she has no other choice whether she likes it or not. And I think besides the whole premise of the sci-fi, the lovely animation, the fight scene, the visuals, all the lovely characters and their character arcs, and and how the action tells a full circle story of these social injustice in this modern society, a whole cyberpunk vibe. I feel like that Akudama Drive did it very well to interpret this entire genre. It does kind of poke fun at, corrupted government system, police system. It makes it seem like this town is very militarized police-based power, and it's easily shown how the wealthy and the privileged overlook this small city, like the poor and privileged people living in slums, like the neo-light landscape behind them, and how the citizens kind of like fight to survive. And they're the two people who actually like fight control is the police and the criminals, and they just do a job, but they're being paid to do it. I think also, if the girl just had simply paid for her food, she wouldn't have been in the situation that she got herself in. But I think that the whole premise of the story is like sci-fi meets the Toy Center. You just combine them into a big multi-pot, and that's what you get from this anime. But overall, I loved it a lot. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. But I just love how each of these criminals can bring something to the table when they're due on these missions, and you're kind of rooting for them not to get caught and not get caught by the executioners who are chasing them. And I feel like, even for the poor girl who got roped into this, she's gotta learn quickly on her feet, and she's absorbing everything that's being thrown at her. And I think, as a character, you kind of like cheering for her, and like hopefully she gets herself out of this mess, and hopefully clear the misunderstanding that got her in trouble in the first place. You would hope. But I think, it's about in this futuristic Japan, like it has to like Ghost in the Shell vibes, but like also like a sci-fi action flick. And I think, it's kind of funny because like the direction, the story is marvelous. The visual cues, the animation, the whole to actually bring their characters to life, they've done a really good job. And I think that's just one way of trying to figure out like the excitement level of how to dive. It just captures the audience and just has us on the edge of our seat to the final run. I think that's what's really so special about this anime that I really love. I was really drawn to it. Besides the character, I was rooting for the girl. I was rooting for the swimmer girl. When I first met her on the first episode, I was like, this is how it's going to transition to how this girl meets all these criminals that we're lovely introduced to, and then we're like, oh, that's how she gets in trouble. Should have seen that one coming, but she was trying to be like, should I return the money, this, that, and the third, trying to be the good citizen, trying to be the good soul that's left in society, and even, the people in the same class as her turn against her, basically. And I thought that was just the nice icing on the cake to start this whole journey of where she's from start to finish. And, I won't explain, the ending of it, because I don't get spoiled on this channel, but definitely check it out for yourself if you haven't already, and let me know what you think. But until then, see you soon.